Hey YouTube. All right. Rebuilt my driver's side door and my passenger side door. Got all the tracks and stuff done, but passenger side works great. Driver's side, I think the motor is having some issues either with the ground or something. So took the motor out. Since I put it all back in nice and neat, I tried to do it with everything put together, window and stuff. So got the very top position and then using vice grips with some, very lightly on there. It's held in up top, but this is just, in case I don't want that spring in the regulator to throw the window out or mess it up. So I was able to get back there and take out those bolts and wiggle my motor out. And then I bought a new motor years ago. So this motor is actually newish, and it's the original one on the passenger side is much better than that new one that I got online. So they're not super expensive, but I figured I was just going to be getting another problematic motor. So I took it apart just to see if I could rebuild it before starting the video. So we'll try to retrace steps as I put it back together, but got apart this far, and right here, let's see where my what is it called? Shoot, 1 second while I look that up. Okay, so right here where the pigtails make contact, this is the winding side. I have the ground side in here, but those make contact right here. And you can see, the brushes, sorry, not pigtails, brushes make contact right here. This isn't terrible, but I'm hoping that after cleaning the contact points, that it's better. My magnet, you can tell this thing is, been up and down like twice in its entire life. So gonna just try to clean this and clean my contacts, put it back together. The ground pigtail side right here, so all become clearer later, but this side it's just pinched in between the case of the motor and the top half where the gear sticks through. So I'm gonna clean that really well and really make sure I have good ground, because I don't know if that was great. So it could be I have a grounding issue in the door, but we're gonna start with this. Already have it apart. This is back when I bought door motors. This is for the other side. This is a new one for the other side, but I wasn't having an issue with that one, so I'll save that one for a rainy day. Also, this is not an original idea. I saw a video from Problem Solver Garage. He's doing it on an older model. I want to say like a 69 or 70. So I wanted to take this one apart and make sure that it was similar. It is not the same as his video. It is a little different, but pretty much the same. So I'm just gonna I've got 400. I think he used 320, but that's all right. Let's take off less. So we just wanna get this surface back to that copper color. Okay, we'll see. Sorry for the crappy camera quality, but that's what we get. Also, I rebuilt when I took the tracks out and took all that stuff out, I scraped out all the old cruddy grease. Didn't make a video on that. I should have, but didn't. And I rebuilt my door locks. Just that main door lock and the exterior handle and interior. And Corvette Ben, he's got a great video on that. So that's kind of what I used. Pretty similar. I don't have power door locks, so it's a little bit easier for me, but it's a lot to figure out, I could also have a grounding issue in my door between, for the older models, they have a ground wire going to the motor. This one, it relies on the mounting points to the door itself to be the ground. And I guess it connects, through the hinge and all that stuff. But if you're bushing, maybe it's not through the hinge. I'm not sure. I need to figure that out. I know my driver's side, the issue I'm having, which I shot all the wires. I'm getting my switch is good, my wires are good, but if I have crappy ground through that hinge, that could be my problem. So I have to kind of check that out. I did check all my grounds. I ran a separate ground wire before I pulled the motor out, because I know it's rarely the motor. It's a lot of times the switch or the wiring, especially in the door jamb where that rubber boot is. The wires are flexing every time you open and close the door. So over time with these old cars, they can, you know, just get old and crack and create a crappy connection. That could be your problem area. Let's see. So that could be it. I might run a completely separate wire to the case of this thing once it's back in, but hopefully it's not necessary. But yeah, I'm gonna keep sanding these and then get right back with you. All right, so we got this surface pretty clean. Looks pretty good. Let's mess with the brushes. So I cut a little piece of fuel line because, let's see, where is it? These brushes make contact. I don't know if you can see, it's like kind of concaved there. Kind of concaved, and it's gonna make contact while this spins. So to clean this surface, take my piece of sandpaper and kind of just wrap around this line. So, and these are really soft, so you don't want to go too far. Just kind of freshen it up. If you see very well, but it's kind of really all you want to do. So I'm gonna do that. Get really close. I'm not gonna film that because you're really in there, and watch what I'm doing so I don't mess anything up, but we'll do both sides, the winding side and then also the ground. So be right back. All right, everything clean, both brushes are clean, sanded. I don't really want to spray too much electronic cleaner, so I'm just gonna go really light. So let's see. Kind of give it a wipe. I don't have any dielectric grease, so I'm trying not to take off too much of the lubricant. And this is so new. I mean, you can just tell. You can also tell the quality's kind of crappy from just poor trimming. I don't know if that's really gonna affect it, but I'm sure it would. I'm sure if I opened up the passenger side, which is original, it would be, you know, made with love. This doesn't seem like it. So, there's that right there. Some more cleaner. Just kind of wipe, clean the surface, nothing crazy. Yeah, I would clean all this, all the mating surfaces. You know, actually I have Molly coat. Okay. Yes, so I will clean. I have Molly coat from work. It's electrical insulating compound. So I will. Doesn't need it, but might as well. It's open. Let's do that. Kind of dirty. Clean that a little bit. Inside the case looks really clean, and I definitely don't want to spray it out, so I'd say that's good. Apply some Molly coat. I'll do some research, but I'm pretty sure the brush and winding surface, I think that's winding, or I forget what it's called. I should know this, but having brain farts, I don't like being on video. But Pretty sure that should be dry. I'll look into that before I close everything up, but won't do too much. Just a little bit. This fits down there at the bottom, fits in a little divot, bearing race. So put a little dab on there. Just a tiny bit, not too much. Okay. Take a paper towel and clean off the excess. That's too much. There we go. Good. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. So, didn't find a direct answer about the dielectric grease on these two surfaces, but that's kind of a stupid question. Kind of a stupid thing for me to look up. Obviously, you don't want insulation in between those. Those are contact points. So you want them to be bare surfaces. So how this goes back in, drop that guy down. Also, that's the inside. There's your winding side brush. This just goes flat down in there. Oops. There we go. Can y'all see it? Yeah, kinda. And you have this plate. Shoot. Actually, I took a picture of which direction, and I believe it's gonna be this way. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I want to be really careful with all these wires. They're new, but you know, stuff breaks really easily. Okay. Let me kind of get a game plan here and we'll get right back with you. Okay, so I think I pre-lubed this shaft up here too soon. I'm gonna take this back out. I'm gonna wipe it down just because I think I'm gonna use this surface up top to kind of hold one side of the brushes on there, and I don't want to get molly coat on this surface. I got a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm gonna wait, get all back together, get my brushes seated, and then I'll lubricate up top. But for now, we'll stop with that. So I think I got figured out what I'm gonna do. And use, can't really see it, but the concave portion of the brush obviously needs to be, mated up against the motor itself. So, be mindful of that when you're getting that in there. You want, half moon, obviously. Okay. Kind of mess with this. Hope you can see what I'm doing. I apologize again for the bad camera work, but I'm new. Using my phone and audio probably stinks. So get that lined up, and I don't know if you see, but the brushes, these are the housings for the brushes, and these springs maintain tension to keep a firm contact while the motor spins. So each brush, the ground side's over there, but it's gonna sit inside this housing, and I need to compress that spring and I can get it seated, both sides, get it seated where it needs to go, and seat this top bracket, so, for this circuit board. Let's see what happens. Here goes nothing. I have a feeling the winding side will be easy, and then once the ground, it's gonna give me some problems. Okay. Just try to want to be really delicate. And this plastic and wires and copper. So it's all soft and brittle, I'm sure, even though it's fresh. Makes me nervous. I think I need a new game plan. Let me think. Okay, here's the plan. Try to keep this spring and the brush compressed inside the housing. Took these needle nose, I put some electrical tape just because I don't want to do any damage. And let's see how this goes. I use a zip tie to keep the needle nose shut while I work on this side. This might not be necessary, but I just want to be careful. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's compressed. All this is brass. Okay, so that worked. I'm gonna hold my hand up here because, man, maybe that was stupid. Maybe I just handicapped myself, but. Let's see. Man, I think I might have just kind of screwed myself over a little bit. I think this was a smart move. Maybe not. Okay, that one's in. Let's see if I can slip everything down. Okay, actually, I'll get the ground side brush. Crap, it fell out. I'm gonna try to use this worm gear shaft to keep the ground side brush inside the housing. There's some tension on it if I pull to my left. Crap. Kind of tedious, but hopefully. This pays off. That's in. That's not. Man, it's so tiny. Okay, that's in. Now let's pull it over. Come on. Okay, right there. Hold some tension. Got my little screwdriver. See if I can compress. Okay, oh, nice. Okay, ground side is in. Ground side is in. Now, I'm gonna pull off my zip tie. Hopefully I didn't damage it. Oh, nice. And we're in. I hope. Got that on video. Dang. That wasn't hard, but it's just hard being delicate. Wouldn't chip anything. Okay. We inspect it. Get right back with you. I know the last video was crap. Sorry, I'm not gonna redo it just because I'm in. So I don't know if you see the little brush right there inside the housing. I used my needle nose to compress that all the way back against the little housing, and then zip tie on top. But that was kind of useless because I had to hold it with my hand anyways. If you let go of a tool like that, it's probably gonna tear this up and bend it all out of whack. So be careful, don't squeeze too hard. This is just, you know, brass. And then this side, I got it in with my fingers and then got all the way compressed. And then I pulled this whole assembly against the threaded worm gear right here and kept it taut while I got my screwdriver in the back and compressed the brush. And then I was able to slip this side in and then kind of slip that side down too and pull out my pliers. And then now we are against the mating surface. Very nice. So I'm gonna go through this and kind of take some electrical cleaner and a paper towel and clean up the surfaces just a little bit. I'm not gonna spray directly, I'm just gonna wipe. And then I'm gonna re-lube this with some Moly Coat. Be right back. Okay, got this wiped. So you see the ground brush, it just pinches in between the case. And the top, your worm gear, I need to clean all this, but you know, it's gonna crush, it's gonna crush on top of that grounding wire. And if you see the crappy job they did of taking out paint, you know, probably, the motor worked, but it was acting like it just had low voltage or something. So I'm gonna go and clean that, get that ground surface really clean. I just cleaned this one. Sandpaper is good, but I used a little file just to, you know, really tell this surface that I want a good connection. So you don't want to go too far, but that's what I did. And we'll do that, clean all this crap out. I'll be right back. Okay, got it clean. Got my mating surface on the worm gear case. Really sand it down. I'll take this little brush and throw on some Moly Coat. Let's see. Not much, just a tiny bit. Now this might not be the right lubricant, but it's better than waiting till tomorrow. Kind of go on top of the winding right here, just in case. Okay. I love these little brushes. Harbor Freight, use them for anything, throw them away or save them. But let's see. So I got that really clean, really just overly sanded, and then. So you see, yes. So this grounding wire is just gonna pinch in the case, and let's see how it lines up. You'll see, not really. No. So, my grounding wire kind of shifted. I don't like that. It shifted too far. But shifted into the unsanded zone. So I'm gonna try to get it about right here, right in the middle. carefully. Don't pull anything out. Okay. So you see, I kind of got it long ways. I think the wire comes up about right here, and it's got, you know, is that ½ inch? Less, but just a ton of grounding surface. So I know that this ground is good. Let's see, okay. And then install these 4 long bolts. Let's see, actually there's 3. And I believe they're 8 mil. Yep, 8 millimeter. Sit down. Cool. I'm gonna go all the way tight yet. I can kind of get it seated. I don't want my wire to move, but I also don't want to start over tightening it just yet. All started. These motors are, I think I saw like 68 or 70 something dollars on Amazon, all kinds of sites for both driver and passenger. And I think that's what I did a long time ago. I think I bought that, but I'm not sure from where. It's so long ago. And so kind of crappy. I know that Zip and Eckler, some of the higher end part stores, they sell these motors too, and they're a little bit more money. But I don't know. My goal with this thing is just fix whatever I can and save as much money as I can. And you know, this thing's already a money pit, but you know, if I wanted to save money, I would have never started this project. But this is what I love doing. Okay, so we got those 3 in. There is only 3. There's another hole, but no threaded section down here. So I'm just gonna kind of snug them up, go crisscross. Check all the way around. Make sure it's all nice and seated. Look at my ground. My ground looks real good. All smashed in there. Yeah. I'll take a ratchet and really tighten those up, but not too tight. But you know, better than a screwdriver. Okay, right back with you. So as I stated in my last video, this car is like a huge project. Got in high school and looked for the worst condition Corvette I could find, and I found it. So I've done a ton of work to this thing, and a lot of it as a younger guy in high school, and I thought I knew what I was doing then, and you know, I didn't. So yeah, I'm doing the interior now, and got carpet kit. It's brand new, but it's years old, and got these aftermarket seats, but they're kind of crappy. I like the original ones, but those need to be redone. So I already did the wiring. Now I'm, you know, cleaning everything up. Was gonna do dash, was gonna do a full restoration, but it's far too expensive. It was a lot cheaper back in the day, but that's what happens when you know, postpone it. So it's just a mess. There'd be a ton of stuff that I'm making. I plan on making those little console bins. I'm gonna try to make little speaker mounts back here, and tons of weird custom crap just to save money. But yeah, it's gonna need, I rebuilt the gauges and rewired everything, and it really works, but still tons more to do. And engine side, y'all saw that video where I had to drill a hole or 2 holes for my power steering pump. That's kind of a joke. It's just a user error, me not buying the right stuff years ago. You know, this windshield wiper motor that I'm working on now, it probably wasn't installed right and got damaged, or installed it years ago. It was new years ago. Now it's been sitting, and installed it in crappy outdoor environments. Look at me, look at all the crap down in there. And so maybe burned it up because my tracks were so sludged up with the original grease that was petrified. So when I took those tracks out, I mean, it took, an hour and a half each door just to scrub and scrape all the old lubricant out of all the tracks and get those clean. It took an hour each door. So no wonder they weren't sliding. This passenger side door runs so well on the original motor. So, let's see. So, okay, at this point, I'm thinking take the motor, go plug it in, see if it runs, see if, I need to backtrack and take it back apart, but let's see what happens. All right. So let's just plug the motor in, working it up. Like I said, this generation does not have a ground wire. The ground is the door. So let's put the car on. Make sure we got good contact with the door, or as best we can, and listen to what happens. No, it's not good, nothing. I don't have good ground. There we go. That sounds way better. All right, just to compare, I know y'all didn't hear it, but the right side motor, the one that goes on the passenger side, that spare that I have, it sounded way better, ran way faster. So, than this motor before I rebuilt it. Let's just test it out, compare the sounds, just for fun. I kind of got to work fast because when I turn the car on, it's going to connect you guys to the Bluetooth, which I guess I could turn my Bluetooth off, but then you won't hear me. Let's see. Okay, key on. Oh, grounded. Man, it sounds even better than the one that worked. All right. Let's see. That's even better. It'd be a shame if I accidentally rebuilt the wrong one, because they're both on my workbench. That would be stupid. No, it's this one. Okay, I did it right. Yeah, when I was first started, this one was like, wow, that's what a difference compared to this one. This one was just slow and weak, even disconnected. My window would go down, but it would not go back up. It would tick. It would kind of flicker. Definitely life at the motor, but not enough to move the window. And so I kind of thought ground or, whatever. So that's way different. So let's build the gear and get it back in the door. Okay, this drive assembly. This worm gear runs this plastic gear and translates the power to the regulator. So this is actually original. You kind of gotta, when you get a new motor, you swap over this assembly. This does not look good at all. So I go through that, clean it up. I mean, it looks, the plastic is fine. Everything looks fine, just dirty, grimy. So be right back. All right, this gear assembly clean, scraped all that stuff out. Kind of got a flathead and a paper towel to go around inside this O-ring. Yeah, it's definitely old, but it's okay. Just gotta be careful with it. Clean in here, clean this shaft. Also, this spring comes out, so you can clean in there really well. And then also this little metal piece that also came out. I had to kind of force it back in, but so I don't know if it comes out for y'all. Probably not necessary, but I just cleaned it above and beyond anyways. So I'm gonna go moly coat inside on the spring, lubricate everything, and then I have this O-ring lube. So it's kind of cool. I use this every time I can for this O-ring out here, just to keep it, you know, hydrated. So let me lube all that stuff up. I'll be right back. All right, all this lubed up. Just got grease everywhere. This spring, it doesn't matter. It's gonna go in the same way, upside down or this way. So don't worry about that. Just kind of second guessing that. Seems like this guy just drops in there like this. So if you pull up a little bit, it releases, but that's how I think that goes. And then now to do the O-ring. Let's see. I'm gonna get a new brush. New brush. This probably isn't necessary, but if you got it, use it. Little glob. Stuff is thick. It's nice to use when, you know, you need something to stay during assembly. So that's kind of what I use it for. It's really thick. Bad angle here. That's a camera angle. You could probably use regular grease, but I know this won't damage the rubber. So just go with that. And then as far as the moly coat to assemble everything else, I know it's probably not right, but like I said, it's what I got. It's not high temp. You know, this isn't running all the time. It doesn't matter, in my opinion. I might eat those words. We'll see. Try and give it a coat. I'm an aircraft mechanic, so I get access to nice products when they shelf life expires, so I can take home this stuff and use it on my projects. Stuff I would never normally buy, but a lot of it I do like using. I like using Croyle instead of WD-40 or, you know, a PB Blaster. Croyle seems to be the best I've ever used. Actually, mouse milk is the best penetrating oil I've ever used in my life. This stuff works amazingly, but it's expensive. So I would use diesel and ATF or kerosene ATF. Anyways, that's good coat. Got it inside, down in here in this lip where I cleaned out decently well. I didn't spray any contact cleaner or carb cleaner or anything like that, just because I don't want to damage or swell this O-ring. I think it's, you know, probably since 1978, so try to keep this around. Anyways, okay. Spray grease this gear as well. Let's see if I have anything in my products cabinet that I want to use on this. Be right back. All right, just use moly coat. It's kind of all I've got. I think it'll be just fine. What is this? Yeah, it's my moly coat brush. Okay. Not too much, but not all coated. I don't know if on the original motors the inside area in here is painted as well, but man, I wouldn't have done that. I would sand it, but I don't want to go too OCD. This shouldn't take this long, but it's a labor of love. And then also this little end cap, this little bolt up here. I know I can pull that out and lubricate the worm gear at a later date if I have to, so, which I guess would in turn lubricate the whole plastic gear side. But I think this will be just fine. Okay. Let's get some plastic. You know, the more thoroughly you coat this stuff in grease, as long as it's the right grease, it preserves it. So, and you know, the metal, that's what I'm thinking, might as well stop corrosion and rust in the future, especially on the inside of this. It was dirty and gunked up, so cleaned it really well, and just thinking I might as well coat everything, just so even that spring, just because I don't want to be back in here, but I probably will. After all this, probably still have to replace the motor. It's okay. Gotta mesh those gears, the plastic gear under here and the worm gear. So let me try to clock this. I want to force it. It's plastic on metal, so I want to be gentle. That feels meshed. Oh yeah. I think it was that grease I put down in that set hole under here. I think it was just extruding that out. That feels, I don't know. What if this should be all the way flush? Let's try the other motor. Really seated. Suction from that dust seal. Especially with all that nice Parker lubricant on it. Man, it's doing a good job. Let's see. Okay, maybe we'll leave it. I don't want to damage it. Let me do some research. Be right back. Alright. Looks like all the assemblies I saw online, and then I pulled it out, put it in the right side motor, fit the same way. So seats down, slow it down. Okay. So there should be, I think, small screwdriver, tiny little gap between the top of the seal and, but it seems all the way seated. This has, you know, this guide piece, so the top of that shaft is supported. But let's clean this, get this back together, and we'll be ready to put in the car. 1 second. All right, clean, ready to go on. I've got to put the motor in the door before I can put this on, but I guess I installed this all those years ago. One real bolt and then a couple of flatheads, so it was a pain to get out. So I just picked up. I mean, I had them, but found these guys. Should have all matching hardware now. Go in the door. I think I'm gonna clean the surfaces where these mount up inside the door real quick, just to make sure I've got really good ground. All right, so those two big holes, see right there on the bracket, those are one of three holes where this guy mounts up, and it looks good, but yeah, I just went over it real quick with sandpaper. The regulator mounts to the door. I should have done all this last week when I had all these bolts out, but I'm probably gonna take all those bolts out after I get it back in one by one and clean, you know, all the corrosion around each one just to maintain really proper ground. So that's, you know, better use of time than trying to sand the back of that. If yours is rusty or whatever, then go for it, but mine's pretty clean. So let's get this motor in the door. Almost forgot to tighten these up. These little long end bolts. Just wanted to do that. And then also this little cover on the back. This guy. Forgot to put that on, but don't forget about that. All right, motor's in. All right, everything's in. Wires hooked back up. That little bolt surface is clean. I'll do the rest of them, but it's time to test it. So, got the clamp off the window. It did settle. So the spring was compressed in a way. So it did settle. I hope it's all lined up. Let's see what happens. Key on. Ooh, ooh, I don't like that. What the heck? Okay, same problem. Binding somewhere. Okay, ended up pulling the regulator out again and checking everything, and it turns out I had my spring loaded to where it's pulling the window down. So tension was pulling it down instead of assisting it up. Flip that around, give it half a preload, half a revolution. So let's test it out. Ooh, very nice. That's great. Need to adjust my window now and make sure that all lines up. I don't want to hit anything. And that video of me rebuilding the motor, this video, that is the right way to do it. I don't know if it was necessary or not, but motor is definitely running better now, and so glad I did that. But I think it was mainly that spring. So don't be a 15-year-old that installs stuff incorrectly and has to fix it when he's 24. So, okay. All right.